Good evening. What have we done to our children? Obesity in America is a growing problem, especially amongst our children. We need to reverse this trend. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, obesity now affects 17% of all children and adolescents of the United States, triple the rate from just one generation. Child obesity is an epidemic that is affecting our children psychologically, physically, and emotionally. The effects are long-term, and the rise of healthcare concern is through the roof. We are facing the fact that our children may not outlive us. This is something I battled in my own childhood, and was an obstacle for me joining the military. I understand the issues and challenges our children are facing today. So how do we reverse this trend? President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama established the first ever task force on child obesity. And what they did was they set up a program with 5 prongs. It's an interagency plan that details a coordinated strategy, identifies key benchmarks, and outlines an action plan. And it's called Let's Move. The 5 prongs is getting children a healthy start in life, empowering parents and caregivers, providing healthy foods in schools, improving access to healthy, affordable food, and getting children more physical activity. So how do we get there? First, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends children get a healthy start in life through their parents. But what does this mean? Easy. It means that us as mothers, we need to be proactive when we first get pregnant. And what that means is getting prenatal care early, maintaining our weight, being an example to our children. The Journal of Obesity reported between 1980 and 2001, the prevalence of overweight infants under 6 months almost doubled from 3.4 to 5.9%. We need to ensure our youngest children begin life on a healthy path. Again, how do we do that? By strengthening prenatal care, promoting breastfeeding, evaluating the impact of the chemical influences in our lives, like cleaning supplies and lotions and stuff like that. Reducing screen time. How many of us put our infants in front of a TV because we're just too busy or we have things to do? Improving the quality of our nation's child care settings so they can consistently support our children's healthy development. The second prong is empowering parents and caregivers is one of the most important objectives, I think. As a parent, we set the attitude toward physical activity and other healthy lifestyle choices. Eat Well and Keep Moving.org states that setting a good example by keeping yourself active and encouraging your children to find activities they enjoy. The recommended amount of daily physical activity for our children is 1 hour a day, which isn't very much. The recommended amount of screen time is no more than 2 hours, and the recommended amount of sleep is more than 10.5 hours a night for preschool age children and 12 hours for infants. Now honestly, how much of these recommendations do we abide by? Not very much, because our lifestyles are just so fast and we have so many things to do, and our children are suffering because of that. The Journal of Nutrition, Education, and Behavior states that changes in American lifestyles over the last 30 years have led to an increase of consumption of fast food and sugar-sweetened beverages, eating outside of the home more frequently, and spending less time enjoying family meals. So again, if we cooked more at home, we would know what's going into our kids' foods, carbs, sugars, sweets, and then, hopefully they wouldn't be as obese because we know what we're putting in there. But if we just take them to fast food and just give them, whatever quickly, that's why this is becoming a big problem. Limited access to affordable, healthy food choices can lead to poor diets and higher levels of obesity and other diet-related diseases, with the increasing number of low and moderate income families without access to enough food to sustain a healthy, active lifestyle. The third prong, providing healthy foods at school is a top concern. Recent studies shown that school meals are not meeting program standards. In 2004 and 05 school year, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that although most school meals were consistent with the meal pattern requirements and provided most key nutrients, 93 to 94% of them did not meet all the nutritional standards. And we can remember what they served when we were in high school: burritos, nachos, sodas. So obviously we have to recognize the critical role schools play in promoting student health, preventing childhood obesity, and combating poor nutrition and physical inactivity. Because of this, Congress passed a law requiring school districts to establish a wellness policy in 2004. The fourth prong was improving access to healthy, affordable food. A report to Congress by the USDA estimates that 2.3 million people live in low-income areas that are more than 10 miles from a supermarket. And again, just under half of those are low-income families. So you put a low-income family out in a rural area and then no supermarket, or supermarket that's 10 miles away. How are they going to have access to healthy food? They're not. What they usually have is convenience stores located near them, like Circle K, 7-Elevens, and what do they sell there? Processed food, candy, chocolate, sodas. Some research has found significant associations between the availability of food stores and adolescent BMIs. Obviously, if there's a chain supermarket around, adolescents' BMI is lower, and so is their overweight status, while the availability of a convenience store was associated with higher BMIs and overweight status. Getting children more physical activity is the last prong. The U.S. Department of Human Services We Can program says that physical activity helps control weight, builds lean muscle, reduces fat, and contributes to a healthy, functioning cardiovascular system. Not only does it do that, it reduces the risk of diabetes type 2, it reduces heart disease because our children are now seeing a rise in heart disease, high blood pressure, and all the other illnesses that are associated with being overweight and obese. No single action alone will reverse the childhood obesity problem that we face, but getting good prenatal care, improving our eating habits, and getting more physical activity is a great start. And as parents, we have to set that example. Our children are our legacy. We cannot fail them. We are what we eat is such a true statement. We need to become active advocates in our children's lives from the time of conception. Again, good prenatal care, yearly well checkups, making healthy choices for our family, and ensuring our education system abides by the USDA nutrition plan, having access to affordable health care and food, and exercising are going to be the key to success. We need to start now. Childhood obesity has created implications for military readiness. On a final note, more than 1/4 of all Americans 17 to 24 are unqualified for military service because they are too heavy. Military Leaders for Kids noted, we have an obesity crisis in this country. There's no question about it. These are the same young people we depend on to serve in times of need and ultimately protect this nation. And they can't do that if they're overweight. Thank you.